So, the Switch 2, right? When the Switch 2 was first revealed in that one Nintendo video where a regular Switch merged into the Switch 2, I will admit I was a little excited for it. Eventually came the Switch 2 Direct, which I watched with my fiance, and we both went, hey, this is pretty cool. I would buy it. Then we saw the price. My birds are flying away right now. I don't know where they're going, but they're going somewhere. No. So the release came and went. All the drama about prices and shit was kind of leveled out. And a bunch of games started getting Switch 2 versions, which is fine. You know, getting games for upgrades for the new system. Some of them were a bit more expensive than others. But I kind of thought to myself, if there's no games on the Switch 2 that I would want to play, what's the purpose of getting it? So I thought for a little bit. I do want to play the new Mario Kart game, but I'm not going to pay $500 just to play it. So I decided that until either the price comes down, which was very unlikely, or they reveal a Switch 2 game that I really want to play, I'm not buying one. Then they revealed ACNH for Switch 2. And I decided to reset my island and make a new one in preparation for the 3.0 update. So I saved money for a few weeks, and I folded. I did decide to get the Mario Kart bundle, even though I did want it separate. Let's open the box. Open, damn it. Whoa. It's quite big. It's really big. It's like a freaking tablet. Which I guess that's exactly what the Switch is already, but ooh. I did put a screen protector on it though, because this is plastic and sucks. New Joy-Cons, you know, we'll get to those. You got a blue one, and you got an off red. So, they use magnets. That's really cool. So the screen is a basic LCD, but my goodness, it looks really good. I mean, it gives my Steam Deck OLED a run for its money. Even though the Steam Deck is an 800p panel, which is a weird 16 by 10, but it does run at 90 hertz, which is cool. But the Switch 2 has a 1080p panel, which runs at 120 hertz. But the thing is, it doesn't really feel like it. I have yet to really see a game that makes it feel like, yeah, this is high refresh rate. For comparison, I'm going to be using my fiance's Switch, which I greedily stole from her for this video, which I did do a shell swap on, which you can watch in the annotation here. So Nintendo keeps using a Switch 1, the OG model, as a comparison for the Switch 2, which doesn't really seem fair because I feel like the better comparison is going to be an OLED because, you know, that's the, I guess you could say, the premium version of the Gen 1 Switches. But I don't have my Switch OLED anymore because I sold it and went back to my Switch Lite, which I explained more in my Switch Lite shell swap, which you can watch in the video over here. Her Switch is a V2 Switch, the one that patched out the hardware issue for modding. And I don't know if this screen aged poorly, but it looks like shit compared to the Switch 2 LCD. But this one is a 720p 60 Hz, this one's a 1080p 120 Hz. Moving away from the screens though, let's take a look at the Joy-Cons. They're much bigger. They're about the same thickness, but they have a lot more to grip onto, as well as the corners are apparently more rounded over here so that they're more comfortable even though they're bigger. Both of them having optical mice sensors in them, which is cool, I guess. It's neat sometimes. Buttons are noticeably bigger and they feel good, especially the SL and SR buttons. The Switch 1 cons feel like Tic Tacs in comparison. These actually feel really good to use, especially playing like Mario Kart and whatnot. It's probably because they're bigger, but they feel a lot easier to press as well. Now I have small girly hands, so I mean, if you have big hands, this probably won't work, but for me, for a couple of games of Mario Kart, it works just fine. Another big improvement is the sticks. The caps are bigger, and I feel like they have a slightly better range of motion, which is good. But the more impressive thing is that it's buttery smooth. I don't know what they did, but these feel so nice to move compared to these. These feel clunky, like actually clunky. I'm gonna try and explain this one a bit better. In a normal controller, like you would see in a DualSense, it is a literal box about yay big. In fact, I can prove it. This entire assembly for the DualSense Edge is literally just a stick, and you can see how much bigger it is compared to the PCB down here. As you move the stick, there are two potentiometers or variable resistors, whatever you want to call them, in a little circle or like a semicircle. You have two of those for X and Y, and as you move, a little wiper wipes across that. It measures the voltage across that, and that's how you know how far you've pushed the stick. Get two of those, and you got 360 degrees of rotation. Meanwhile, on the switch, it is a flat little box, and as you move it across, instead of wiping in a circular motion, it goes in two pads that go like this. One goes this way, one goes this way. And as you move the stick, you can feel them change directions, and you can hear it as well. I haven't seen too much on them yet, but I hear that they are the exact same in the Switch 2 Joy-Cons, and dead silent, super smooth. It's even smoother than this, and this is already like really good. It feels about the same actually. And of course, if Hall Effect sticks become available, I will of course put those in. Let's move to something else you get, and that's the dock. It's of course noticeably bigger and has an internal vent, so it's got ventilation through the bottom and the sides, so that's cool, I guess. It's obviously noticeably wider than the Switch 1, so the dock's much bigger. So for comparison, I have a Switch 1 dock as well, and that puts better into comparison just how much bigger they are. Yours has kitty cats on it. I'm pretty sure this one's AI. The corners on the Switch 2 dock are a lot more round, and apparently that's to make it easier to take the Joy-Cons off, which makes sense. But in my opinion, I think the Switch OLED dock is actually the worst. Even though it does have an Ethernet cord, they changed something only for the OLED dock that pissed me off so much. See how the status LED for the dock wraps around the corner? It's so that no matter what angle you look at it, you can see if it's on. Go to the Switch 2 dock, and it's the same. It's a smaller one, but it does the same job. Meanwhile, on the Switch OLED dock, they don't do it on the front and only on the side. So if that's at a TV, that's fine. But when it's on my desk and I'm up close to it, that's hard to see when it's on. It's a small nuisance, but it's fine, I guess. That's really all I have to say on the docks. So here's the Joy-Con grip for the original Joy-Cons. It does a job. I actually quite like using it. It was better in some cases than using the Joy-Cons separately, which I liked. Here's the one for the Switch 2. It's kind of bad in a design, but again, I have small hands. I think it's fine. I don't mind using it at all. Even though these are sharp, I feel like these should be way more rounded on these edges. But I can sit down and play games like this just fine. I'm debating on getting the charging grip so that I can get the back buttons, but that's $40 and this one does the job just fine. So how about some size comparisons? Obviously, I already showed you it next to a Switch 1. Here it is in comparison to my shell swap Switch Lite. This one is blank because I transferred all the data to this, so this one's just blank now. It's been formatted. Here it is next to a Steam Deck, which is obviously much meatier. I mean, this is a full-on x86 computer, so of course this one's going to be much more comfortable to hold for long periods of time. Analog triggers and whatnot. Here it is next to a new 3DS. It's just fine. I still love using this. So much fun. Here it is next to a Game Boy Pocket. Obviously, the Pocket is bigger because it has batteries in it. Huh. I was playing golf. Here it is next to an iPod. Now, how about some things I don't like? The main one being the C button. It's there, it does its job, I guess. I've never used it once. I feel like the C button should be on the left Joy-Con, next to the capture button, a button you don't use very often. But they put it next to the home button. So I have accidentally pressed the game chat button instead of the home button, which is kind of annoying. For extra expansion, you can only use microSD Express, which I get it. It's faster and it's supposed to keep up and other XD cards can't keep up, but that's annoying. The vent exhaust kind of scares me. I feel like there needs to be more grills. You could easily get in there and touch all the fins if you wanted. I'm not gonna do that. No. Prices on this thing are freaking insane. I mean, $450 for the console itself. And even with the price increases of the original Switches, I mean, Jesus Christ, a Switch OLED is $400. For $50 more, you can get a Switch 2, which, why? There's the camera on the Pro Controller, which, why would you buy the camera in the first place? You can use a basic USB camera. You can use Switch 1 Joy-Cons with it, which is cool. It even shows the colors I changed. And thank God, because I do not want to spend another $100 on a new pair of Joy-Cons. Why? I'm not a fan of the microphone. It's okay that it's there, but I feel like in some of the shovelware AI slop games that people keep making, I feel like that's a safety risk. There's no saying how long it'll take for someone to find a backdoor into spying on people through the camera and the microphone. And the fact that the mic is always on, when I loaded into a game of Fortnite with my dad while I was at his house, the feedback loop that microphone created was insane. It's a little annoying they don't have any new colors, which, I mean, I know this is supposed to be red. That is not red. That is an off orange of some kind. But in all seriousness, unless you didn't buy a Switch in the 8 years that they were out, I can't exactly recommend it unless you have an absolute upgrade that you need to make. I mean, the fucking YouTube app doesn't even work, which is so annoying, because I would love to have this set up next to my bed on my nightstand, and I could eat some pizza rolls while watching some YouTube. But no, I download it and it just doesn't work. And with RAM prices going through the roof, I guarantee you pretty soon this is gonna get a fucking price increase. Thanks, Micron. And not to mention the price increase of the original Switches. They make this actually look like a good deal. And one last thing about the Joy-Cons. That connector. I don't think the connector on the system itself is the bad part. I think it's the one on the controller that's gonna break first. This stem thing has play to it. It wiggles. That's intentional. There's basically pogo pins on the inside, which make the connection. That's fine. And you can pull it off like that. It's never going to happen on accident, but you can pull it off with your hands. As well as that, there's markings from where it connects. And on the inside, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but there are like wear marks already on the inside. And where this pogo pin comes out, there is a mark on the sticker. Why is this a sticker? I genuinely thought this was a piece of plastic until I watched a video where someone took the sticker off and I was like, what? Damn. But what do you think? What's your opinion on the Switch 2? I'm enjoying it, but I still think it's kind of a ripoff. You can click this video if you want to watch me do a shell swap on a Switch Lite, and you can watch this video if you want to see me do a shell swap on a DualSense controller. Go ahead and click on the screen of the Switch if you want to subscribe. Catch you in the next one.